is truth something that can be true one day and not true another day? And you see, no, it cannot be. It has no categorization, it has no religion, it has no gender, it has no date of birth, it is not obedient to time. That is already here before the world arose in you through your consciousness. You are earlier than this consciousness.
I want to share some trick I recognize in my looking.
Yes.
There is some distractions, and I recognize without the person pull into the distractions, it's just movement.
Just movement, yes.
And I ask myself, what make this person to go to the distractions? It's the feeling of I need to do with it something, or to choose with it something. And I found some not clear steps to do, because my mind play with me. There is no choose. You cannot choose as a person. There is just consciousness, and you perceive the choosing. So I can see how it can make me to choose to go from practice, but I see it still as a distractions. So I succeed to bring you my confusion.
Yes. Sometimes mind will say something which will be true at another stage. But you see, that like you say, the mind say, look, there's only consciousness, is nothing to be distracted about. That is true at a certain point. But if there is at the same time some identity playing there, and it's saying, no, you are this consciousness, and it's still good that these voices come, because you have to exercise your discernment. Maybe you try this thing and you find, it's not quite like that. So the sense of trying and failing is not a bad thing, because you are developing your muscles of discernment more and more. We overcome through failure also, through some delusions can come. In fact, you said you're distracted, or so many distractions come. And I would say there's no such thing as a distraction. Things come and you get distracted. You see, if there was something called a distraction, it would be a distraction for everybody. But there's no fact in that thing. It's just at this particular point, a certain point, you feel distracted by that. At another point, you will not be distracted by that. And so the pointer that I offer to you, that try and look always with detachment. Don't listen to what the mind says about. Just be detached and stay with it. Like the mind might come and say, yes, but you cannot be so detached, otherwise how will you know? And you see, so something inside is already susceptible to these voices. You have to try them out to then prove that they're not so. That's not the time to believe in that voice. You see, subtle things like that. I say the easy path is always to remember whatever you're seeing, whatever you're perceiving, whatever you're experiencing comes from the mind or from the senses. They're not stable. They're all moving, including the one who is affected by them. So that brings you back to the deeper awareness, in which the one who is affected by the mind talk and the mind are like two sides of one coin. That's a very difficult teaching to catch at first, because of this firm belief in personhood. So you will start by learning as a person, and then you start to observe the person itself. When you can observe to catch the person and say, no, that's been personal, and that, something is deeper watching, and that which watches the person is not personal. It didn't tell you that. Somehow it was a time to realize that that is not personal. Then the sense of the personal distractions, they will just float away from you. And somehow the consciousness or the mind flows to a higher altitude of being.
Actually, this is what I found complicated for me, because with this understanding, I don't find nothing left to do. But still, I don't
Nothing
feel...
left to do like what, for instance? Like nothing left to do, meaning?
Also the doer, I can perceive also the doer. So when I try to follow after the pointing, I don't found to the person have something to do.
Yeah.
I can perceive the person, I can perceive the doer. So everything is good. I don't need to do nothing.
Yes, and this I is what who doesn't have to do anything. Is it personal or impersonal?
If I perceive it, it's personal.
Yes. The person cannot choose to be not personal. A deeper awareness catches that that's personal again. You see? So somehow all these little tricks, you're growing in wisdom and deepening in your awareness to catch them out as they come. At a certain point, the whole structure starts to collapse. Once you see that without personal identity, they have no ground to live. They have come not for your beingness, they come for the potential to go into personhood. Because it is the person that is relating to these energies, to these thoughts and so on, you see? So when you catch that not only this idea is not true, but the one who believes it is also not true. And that is a quintessential pointing. If the person you're catching also, who has been saying, oh, I'm suffering, why am I having it so hard, is itself a thought construct. It's not easy. Sometimes you think you catch it in the mind, but at a certain point, only by staying as the awareness in which all things, no matter what, at some point, you see, everything can be useful. At some point, even the scriptures are seen and they're meeting. But there's no cynicism, there's no specialness about that. You're seeing that everything is phenomenal. Because something you perceive today to be truth in a phenomenal way, the next moment you question it, you see, like that. So is truth something that can be true one day and not true another day? And you see, no, it cannot be. You see, and truth is not, the truth I'm speaking of has no opposite like a lie. The truth is a being, just being. It has no categorization, it has no religion, it has no gender, it has no date of birth, it is not obedient to time. That is already here before the world came in you. And the world arose in you through your consciousness. You are earlier than this consciousness. Now, not many people are able to grasp that the first or second time hearing that. But by abiding as this formless witnessing, naturally it comes into focus by itself. These things, they will come, that you feel, I have no way, because now I'm very happy that you expose this, because there are people who will tell you, yeah, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to be, nothing to do, but they have a smell about it, like a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of something will give them away. And if you don't catch it there, you'll catch it soon. There's a time when you really believe, yes, I got it, there's no such thing as a person, there's only awareness, I'm the consciousness, I wasn't born. And if you hear someone speaking like that, watch it.
I recognize it in me, actually.
Yes, it can become. That's good if you catch it in you, better than also catching it in others. You catch it. And it's something that once you catch it, it's not like, oh, that's disgusting. No. The mind is imitating a little bit like this. You catch it, and more somehow something watches that and become more aware. When it comes up, there's a distance there. And just stay in the emptiness. You learn to stay in the emptiness. It is the greatest knowledge.
I found this distance actually allow it to be. Allow to this person is know and everything flow and there is nothing to do.
Yeah.
I perceive it also.
Yeah.
And it's probably part from the duality, part from the natural flow.
It's what of the duality?
It's part from the duality.
It's different from the duality?
No,
or
it's
it's part of the duality. Yeah. Yeah, okay, good.
And I can recognize how it's part from the duality. So I go back and I say, okay, also with this I don't have nothing to do. Also with this person, this is arrogance, is things he think he know, and with this also I don't have what to do.
Yeah. I feel like what you are sharing, if I'm hearing you correctly, that if you're catching that even the seeming arrogance of the one who knows is itself phenomenal and cannot be true. And it's simply recognized, but there's not any necessarily an emotional response to that. You follow? Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh no, I mean, I get it. So that is also, and now we can say, well, okay, well, next time I just won't get emotional about it. And then still feelings. So all these subtle ways in which the mind and identity has found a way to kind of live has been something particularly aligned with your own karmic expression, while I use this, while that means something. But gradually as you're catching it, it's just that little puddle of water is drying up in your seeing. It's just drying up. Like the power to influence and to grow in its influence is burning up like that. At a certain point, you will not feel any richness in trying to define yourself. By somehow defining becomes confining. You see? So something is just here, and I don't even want to call it a thing, you see. Everything else looks like a thing, but at even some point, all the different things becomes manifestation of this one thing. And it's not that, oh, I've lost the world, I love all this diversity, and all. It's not like that. It's not like that. Somehow it's more that you see that life is taking care of life. And so the need of the person to manipulate to get things right is a total delusion, which we will live with while we have this sense of ego, arrogance. We live with it until we get tired of the frustration and the failure of being a person. Or earlier, it's cut by another way.
Actually, what started for me, the red light, it's not because I said, oh, no, again. It's actually because I say, okay, it's okay. I allow it to be, I allow to this person, this arrogance, this feeling of I know something. I can recognize it and I not say, oh, again it's jump. Just, okay, this is part from the flow. But there is something.
I catch you. I see you. To accept, it's just part of the flow of the river like this, but it's still catching, it's still growing in something. So it's not that just dismiss it. No, it's only that, it doesn't mean anything. It's a good one to catch, but it's only part of the flow. It's not really meaningful. Yet secretly, it's existing by not being challenged to its reality and its value. Is simply just coming and dismissed because something is in some way wickedly enjoying it, softly enjoying something maybe. So you can look at it, and if you are very conscious of where you're looking from the place of emptiness, an impersonal place, look at that thing and it has no power at all. It just, because it must be gaining its power from somewhere, from some interest. It may not be a recognized interest, but there's something. It's coming, it's being dismissed, and like this.
It's come to be excused. It's come to be
excused.
It's come to be excused for not to look.
Yes.
It's from look, but it's come to be excused not to look.
Yes.
It's like kind of play with me in this way.
Yes. Put it that it's come ultimately in the highest sense to heighten your wisdom and your capacity to discern, to strengthen your discernment. You'll only feel like it's tricking because we didn't get over it. Then it grows, and somehow at some point you feel that you've been supporting a little monster or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that you speak about it like that. And you can see, if something is excusing it, you use the right word, it's excusing it, thinking it's innocent because I know it's not real. But when you know a thing is not real, it has no real influence. It has nothing, it doesn't even catch your attention. But if it's catching your attention and you're saying, but it's not real, then it's growing in some way. Your talking about it will make some power right now in that.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you for sharing that.